Thank you very much. I'm so delighted to be here. And once again, I want to welcome for everyone attending this event. I also want to use this opportunity to thank guest speaker for volunteering to come speak with us, despite his very busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir. We are so grateful to have you here. And to everyone on this platform, we say thank you for joining us. I believe you'll have a wonderful time this evening, gleaning from the wisdom of our guest speaker, Dr. Sunday Okafor. Okay, so let me just give a brief of his profile. Well, Dr. Sunday Okafor is a current PhD student in transportation engineering at the University of Alabama, USA. He completed his bachelor's degree in civil engineering with distinction and as the best graduating student of his department from the Federal University of Agriculture at Abeokuta, Nigeria in 2017. He was privileged to win the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship in 2018. And after his NYC, he was privileged to embark upon his master's degree at Nottingham Trent University in the United Kingdom. He graduated in 2019 from Nottingham Trent University in UK with distinction and was awarded as the most outstanding MSc student of his class. In 2020, he secured a fully funded PhD offer at the University of Alabama, USA, and he currently works as a research assistant with the Alabama Transportation Institute. In the past few years, he has used several platforms, especially LinkedIn and Twitter, to share information related to graduate school and scholarships to guide aspiring scholars. He recently started a YouTube channel where he shares content related to graduate school study and scholarships. He has been privileged to host and speak at various scholarship meetings in the past and will continue to contribute his quota to ensure that everyone wins. And I just want us to just give a thumbs up or a clap on our respective Zoom. I mean, such a huge profile. We are so privileged to have you here, sir. And we believe we'll be blessed even long before the meeting has ended. So I would want to hand over to Dr. David to continue the moderation.
All right, thank you very much. So that's such a great profile, and we are so privileged to have you speak to us this evening. So right about now, we are inviting on to the stage Mr. Sunday Okafor as he speaks to us briefly. And please, everybody, I want you to please pay attention as we will take questions and answers immediately after his presentation. Thank you very much. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to great minds like you all here. It's my pleasure, Yanoluwa, for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here today. A lot have been said about me already, but the basic thing is that my name is Sunday Okafor. As he rightly said, I'm a PhD student. I'm not a doctor yet, because when it comes to that title, it's not something you can just attach to your name if you don't have the qualification yet. But I understand the fact that most people, once you are doing your PhD, they call you doctor. I understand that, but for clarity, I'm still a master's, MS, so that's my title for now. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'll be sharing insights from my experience on, what you can do as an undergrad or during while still at school, self-development. How can you improve yourself? How can you, be better in what you are doing? How you can acquire some vital skills that will help you when you are in the industry or when you want to further your education or to contribute to the development of your fellow humans, right? So that's basically what I'll be sharing, and I believe today will be an insightful session. So I believe Yanuluwa has a structure on how the program is going to go, right? So except you want me to, make a brief introduction, but I will leave you to decide on that. So, yeah.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so, okay, we'll be going on to Q&A session, which will be handled by our moderators in the person of Kemi and Rotimi. So they'll be going straight to the Q&A session. Right, so I'll hand over to them.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandy Okafor. I don't know if there is any brief introduction you would like to have, like you'd like to tell us before we start asking questions, as that would guide our minds as to, well, it can help stir questions in our hearts. So if there's something you have to say before we start asking questions, we can have you, sir. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. When I saw the topic, self-development while schooling, it's something that I have in mind for quite some time now to share with undergrad, because I'm someone that believes so much in grooming the undergrad while they are still in school, because that's when you can have the ability or the time, enough time to gather a lot of skills that are very important, apart from having a good grade or a good graduating with a good result. There are other things that you need to do that will make you a complete graduate, right? So when it comes to self-development, first thing you need to do is, once you are in as an undergrad, you need to understand your strengths, you need to understand your potentials. That is first thing. There are a lot of things that will be drawing your attention as an undergraduate student. From the very first day you are in the school, a lot of different association, student bodies, and different things, sports, they will start coming to you, right? And if you don't have the clear understanding of what you truly want, you will be carried away, because for most students, undergrads, that is like the first time they are living away from home, right? They want to explore, they want to be free, they want to see life from another angle. And by so doing, most time, some lose focus of why they are in school in the first place. And the purpose you are in school in the first place is to gain knowledge, to gain exposure, to build your mind. Apart from having a good grade in the course you are doing, the first thing is education is all about opening your mind to be able to think, right? It's not just about you having a good grade, but you should be able to be a versatile student that you can contribute to any discussion that you come across, right? You can be able to search for knowledge. Even what you are not taught in school, you already have an idea of where you can find such information if the need be. So education is all about opening your mind. So as an undergrad, to develop yourself, you need to first of all understand your personal potentials. You need to first of all understand your personal potential. You need to first of all know what is your strength, what can you do and what can you not do, right? So once you know what you can do, you know that, okay, how can I do it? How can I improve in doing that thing, right? Because definitely there are a lot of opportunities you've come across on campus, and not everything you should prioritize. Apart from your academic work, which is, of course, your primary objective, right? There are other areas you can improve, maybe in your volunteering skills, in your speaking, in your human relations, in your networking, right? There are lots of students, they are very brilliant, they are good with academic work, but beyond academic, you can't find them in any other thing. I could remember when I was an undergrad, from the very first year, I started, I became the class governor of my class from the very first year. And this is how it happened. It was not like, oh, I knew that I was going to be the academic rep of my class from the first day. I never thought of that. But something happened during our orientation as fresh students, during the orientation week. So we are we are asked to ask questions if you need clarity on something. And most students generally, they are shy to ask questions in crowd, right? They feel like, oh, I can't ask questions, I can't come out, people will be looking at me. They are kind of intimidated by crowd. And I'm kind of person that I'm not that intimidated, even when there is crowd, if I want to ask questions. So I usually come out to ask questions consistently, like every day. I will always come out and ask questions. So from there, I begin to, my classmates begin to recognize me, like, oh, this guy is in civil. Oh, that's our colleague. So after the meeting, they will come around and say, oh, you're in civil, you're in civil. I'll begin to know each other from there. And most of them say, we like the way you talk, you are very confident, this and this, want you to be a class rep. I was like, really? Class rep? That's even like the first time I started to know what class rep is. But the thing there is that once you have some inherent potentials in you that you personally might not know you have it, right? But indirectly, you are expressing those potentials and people are observing it, right? And once people are observing that potentials in you, they will begin to, to encourage you in that direction, to kind of explore it. That's one way. And again, there are some potentials in you that if you do not come out and explore it, you won't be able to develop it. If you did not come out intentionally to work on it, you won't be able to develop it. So now the example I just gave, being a class rep, and I say, okay, that's possible. Let's see how it goes. We are 40 in class, and the people that I met that day were like, let's say 15 of us, and they just consensusly just say, okay, yeah, this is our class rep. So when other people are coming, they will say, Okafor is our class rep. So even people that have intention to like contest or for the position, once they are coming and people are already telling them this is our class rep, they have no other option than to accept, that kind of a thing. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes your potentials are usually expressed in a way that it comes naturally, right? And when it comes naturally, you don't have to work extra. You don't have to do a lot to actually to be able to develop it, because it is something that is in you. That means you are self-aware of it, even though you might not have developed it, but it is inherent in you. So when you see an opportunity to develop it, it becomes easier for you to express, right? So that's another opportunity. And again, you can explore leadership opportunities, because if you are going to explore international scholarships, it goes beyond just having a good grade. I know Yanolua will be a witness of that, especially when it comes to Commonwealth scholarship. It goes beyond your academic grade. Fantastic, you have a first class, you are the best graduating student. It's more than that, right? So, but when you're able to gather these skills together, you volunteer to work in a group. You might not even be a president of an association. You start from somewhere. You can volunteer to be in a committee in your department, for instance. Even if you are not a class rep or something, you can be in a committee that that work with students or work with the association department to come up with developmental strides that impacts the life of the students. You can explore other voluntary opportunities in your area of interest. For instance, if you are in medicine or you are in medical related field, maybe public health, you can volunteer with communities during your breaks. Instead of just staying at home or something, you can volunteer with your communities to help maybe the less privileged, or to sensitize the pregnant women, or to sensitize the children on hygiene, ways of living a healthy life or something like that. So those are the things that you can use to build your profile. And you can also learn skills. There are things that you never be taught in the classroom. Take it. So there are skills that you will need after school, right? So you can also develop yourself in those skills. Use leverage on internet. Thank God we are in an era of social media, internet, YouTube. There are a lot of resources, free resources that you can use to develop your mind, right? So the best thing, the thing that is very important is about developing your mind to be able to expand your thinking, the scope of your learning. Don't just focus on, oh, you are in civil, they are teaching you mechanics of structures, equations, how to calculate pressure, how to find laminar flow, turbulent flow, other stuff. Those are what you will use if you are working in, if you are going to work in your field of interest or in that field. Those skills are very important. You have to know them. You have to get a good grade. I encourage everyone to work to get the best grade possible. That's your primary objective, because you can always upgrade your skills after school, but your grade is something that you cannot change after school. So that's, you have the opportunity to get a good grade as an undergrad, but on top of that, what are the vital skills that you need to put in your CV, right? If you are going to look for a job after school, it goes beyond the grade you have. They are going to look for the skills that you have, the hard skills that you have, the soft skill that you have. Have you been able to work with a group? Have you been able to negotiate for something to be done in your community? Have you been able to interact with students, come up with a developmental plans? For instance, have you worked with a team to execute a particular project, no matter how small it is, right? So those are the kind of skills or things that you can do to develop yourself so that you become a rounded and not just a one-directional student. So those are very important as an undergrad, and I encourage that. I'm not going to tell you that I was the best undergrad when I was in school, right? So there are things that I get to know or understand better even after I left school. I could remember then when I was in my 400 level, going to 500 level, I wanted to contest for a position, like presidential position for faculty, by faculty, but you need to also understand the balancing, right? You need to understand how to balance between your academic and your social life, your developmental strides, volunteering and all that. You need to understand how to balance the two, because if one is affecting the other, primarily your academic is the primary aim while you're in school. If your parents are paying for your school fees, they expect you to have a good grade. Basically, that's what they expect from you, right? Most parents, except the ones that maybe they are exposed, they're educated, they understand the importance of self-development and having all these skills. But basically, most students are happy when their kids come home with a very good grade, because that's why they are paying school fees in the first place, right? But you personally, you are in school and you understand the value of having skills, having developing soft skills, right? So you need to find a balance between these two, so one doesn't affect the other. So the example I was given was, I was going to my final year, and after my 400 level, what I wanted was to graduate with a first class. That was my primary goal, to graduate with a first class, right? People told me even when I was a class rep that, oh, if you are a class rep, you can never graduate with a good result. The demand of being a class rep, this lecturer will be calling you from here to here, you'll be running from one place to the other, you won't concentrate on your academic. But I found a balance between the two. And one thing you need to understand also is that if you are going to manage your time, you can only manage what you schedule to in different places, right? If your time is only focused on your academics, then there's nothing you are managing there. And the fact is that if you are just an academic oriented person, right, most of the time, people that tell you that, oh, I'm just book only, I don't want to do any other thing. Most of the time, they are not using all the time to read their books. They are not always reading their books. Sometimes they might even procrastinate. But when you are involved or engaged in other variable ventures like volunteering, working as, maybe if you're a Christian, you are working in your fellowship as an executive, or for instance, you are in one association executive, for instance, in your department. So you have to find a balance between your academic and your extracurricular activities. So how do I find a balance there? Finding a balance is about priority. You should prioritize what are important to you, right? So by prioritizing what are important to you, you are setting out time. So me personally, I'm someone that if I don't have responsibilities, at least 2 or 3 different responsibilities, I won't be able to manage my time well. Because what is there to manage in the first place? You'll be like, I have the whole 24 hours to do one thing. So I can procrastinate because there's enough time for me to do that thing. If that thing is going to take me 1 hour to do and I have 24, let me say, okay, maybe I'll sleep 8 hours in a day, right? So let me say I have 16 hours to do one thing. So I can procrastinate because I know I still have enough time, right? But in managing time, you can only do that effectively when you have other things that is demanding for your time, other variable things that is demanding for your time. And how can you do that? It's through engaging yourself in self-developmental opportunities where you can acquire skills. So if you know that you are going to be in a meeting by 5 p.m. and you're also going to read on that same day, study for an exam tomorrow, and you have 2 other meetings that you will do that same day, then you can be able to manage your time because you have 3 different things that need to be scheduled. You need to schedule time for 3 different activities, right? Your exam is a priority. You have to schedule maybe say 4 hours to study. Okay, after I study from, let's say, 10 a.m. to maybe 2 p.m. or something like that, I have a meeting by 4. I need to rest within 1 hour and maybe find something to eat, rest before I go for that meeting. Then you'll be able to manage your time, be able to reduce procrastination. Because procrastination time, having excess time is what feeds procrastination, right? You say, oh, I still have time, I will do it later. Let me just sleep 1 hour, right? So it is important, that's where self-development comes in. You use those times that you are supposed to be procrastinating, you schedule it to do something that will add value to you. So that's where I will, stop for now, and I will take questions and elaborate more with that. Thank you.
Hi, thank you
sir.
so much, sir, for that briefing, for that introduction. I'm aware that Rasak or Mr. Rasak put up his hand. Please, can you ask your question, sir? You can mute your mic and ask, sir.
Okay, so just before it comes in, sorry, Mr. Asak, just before you come in, I just want to note that there are also postgrads here currently,
Okay.
master students, and I even think there are even more postgrads here than undergrads. So I just want to note that. Thank you.
Okay.
Over to you, Mr. Asak.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I want to thank Mr. Okafor for giving us this opportunity to speak to us. I want to appreciate you for that. Actually, my question is based on Commonwealth scholarship. This year, I applied for so many scholarships: Commonwealth scholarship, Commonwealth share scholarship, and Commonwealth distance learning scholarship. But actually, I lost out on some scholarship, but I was able to get that of Commonwealth distance scholarship. But my concern is that on my award letter, I was told that I will not be able to, get other scholarship once I've been able to accept that of Commonwealth distance scholarship. And my aim is to, have international exposure. Actually, I have a master's in clinical psychology, and and I am applying for other scholarship too, like Chevney this year and other scholarship. But my point is that Hope haven't accepted this particular Commonwealth distance scholarship. Hope this will not affect the opportunity of getting other scholarship in the future. Thank you very much.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Okafor, please, before you reply him, I want us to not digress from the essence of this meeting. Okay, the theme for today's webinar is self-development while schooling, whether as a uni student, that is in school, or a postgrad student. Okay, so I know he would still make time to answer your question, Mr. Rasak, but please let us still focus on the essence of this meeting for now, please. Sorry to cut you short, sir. But Mr. Okafor, if time permits, I believe you would be able to, or if you are able to answer his question, you definitely do that, sir.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sorry. Should I just point something out, just a brief on that? I won't take time on that. Mr. Razak, I think you should, if you're accepting a scholarship, understand the clause attached to it, right? So if you're not comfortable with the clause, don't accept it. But I believe that there's no Commonwealth scholarship, to the best of my knowledge, that will prevent you from accessing on any other scholarship afterwards. Not while you are still on that scholarship, but afterwards, right? So I want Commonwealth Share Scholarship. I finished my master. They won't stop me from proceeding to do my PhD. So I think you should just read the clause and understand. If you are not clear, you can mail them to make clarification on that. I hope that helps you, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
do we have any other person?
I think Mr. Anusa is raising up his hands.
Okay. Please go on, sir.
Okay, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to, I find it a great privilege. I'm still an undergrad. I'm a 300 level student in University of Benin. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So concerning self-development while in school, I try to help myself in taking online courses based on, because I'm having this vision of wanting to do a master abroad via scholarship. So I've tried my possible best to ensure that, okay, my GP is kind of good enough. At least for now, I'm still on the first class, kind of. And I've been taking some online courses. And also, I'm also trying to know about volunteering. Do I have to take on volunteering in terms of an organization that has to do with my scope, like my field of study, or I could just volunteer anything and it will serve as a working experience for me that will boost my CV or opportunity in getting scholarships abroad, stuff like that. So I want to get clarity on that.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think when it comes to volunteering,
yes,
it depends on the field you are. For instance, if you are in a civil engineering field, you won't want to go to a construction site and say you want to volunteer to work on a site. Of course, you should be paid, except you intentionally accepted a non-paid internship, right? So volunteering don't have to be basically on your field of study. What volunteering is all about is what impact does that add to your community. No matter the community, it might be the student community in your school, it can be your community where you are living, it can be, just for instance, let me take myself as an instance. The class rep position I occupied for 5 years as an undergrad is a volunteering position because I wasn't paid for it. I did it because I want to do it, right?
Okay.
So also other positions like being in committees of different associations within the campus and while I was also serving, I could remember I was this CDS of a thing. I was also in fellowship. I was, all those stuff that you do voluntarily without being paid for it. Those are volunteering skills. They are volunteering opportunities. It can be in an established organization. It can be within the campus as you are in school now. It can be like, I know of JCI, all those type of
yes, sir.
Organization within campus. There are a lot of stuff you can do. But one thing is that you should balance it and let it not affect your academics. So when you see that doing this thing is going to possibly affect your academic performance, you should find a way to balance it out. What is the trade-off? Do you want to sacrifice having a good grades to gaining an experience in a particular area? Which one will pay you off in the long run, right? What I usually tell people is that you have a one-time opportunity to make the best possible grade as an undergrad.
Yeah.
But your skills of volunteering, you can always volunteer even after leaving school, right? But if you are going to pursue a scholarship immediately after leaving school, that's when it is important to acquire those volunteering skills as an undergrad. But you have to balance it up with your having a good grade also. Don't let one overweigh the other. You understand? Always find the trade-off. Find a trade-off. Trade-off is your grade is more important to you at this stage, or that skill that you want to acquire. Which one is more important to you, right? I've done trade-off in many places. Like as I said the other time, during my final year, I have to trade off contesting for that position, because if I have done that, potentially it's possible that I was not going to graduate with the first class, right? Because it was a thin line. It was a thin line. And I know that having a first class in the long run is more important to me, because I can always have opportunities to become anything else I want to be, contest for any position, volunteer to do any other thing. So that's where the trade-off comes, and balancing becomes important.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Very much so. Yes.
Okay.
All right, sir.
All right. Thank you. We have a question in the chat box. It says, can I learn a skill outside my course while preparing for my service year? Will it be an added advantage? That's from Paul Etuk.
Yes, I think it's very important for you to identify the skills that you want to learn. How is it going to add value to you, right? There are a lot of skills out there contesting with each other. You go out, you see a lot of skills, but it's important for you to understand what value will this skill add to me. Where will I need this skill, right? It's good to have skills, but definitely understanding the application of those skills, even though there are some skills that is like a must have for everyone, like leadership skills, negotiating skills, all these soft skills, persuasive skills, building your emotional intelligence, right? They are all skills that are very, very important. Then when it comes to like hard skills, like knowing how to use a software, like learning coding, programming, all those stuff, digital skills, they are also very important, because of course, no matter the field you are now, data is a big deal, right? Digital skills is a big deal. So you need to, understand the application of the skills you're learning. So it doesn't look like you're just gathering skills, any skills that come across you, you just keep, gathering them. You should think of what is important of these skills to me, and where am I going to use it? So I think that's very important. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Okafor. This is from FF. Here's another question from FF on the group chat. The question goes thus: please share study strategies that help gain in-depth understanding of what is being studied. Like, can you help us with some study strategies that can help us to gain more understanding on what is being studied?
Okay, I think that one is kind of personal, but there are some things you need to first understand about yourself, right? There are people that they are good or they assimilate, understand better with videos. There are people that when they see something visuals, it stick more to their memory, right? There are people that they have to read and read over and over again before they actually understand. So firstly, you need to understand yourself. Like when I was in school, I know most people know night class, although there are people that never go to night class and they still graduated with the best grade. So, but some people follow their friends to night class and they end up sleeping throughout the whole night till the following day. And when we are going home in the morning, everybody will be carrying their bag. And if you are returning back to your dorm or your apartment, people that didn't go to night class will be like, oh, you have read the whole world, you have finished the whole book. And in your mind, you know that you slept throughout the night, right? So
that's true.
So when it comes to that, firstly is to understand what time of the day you assimilate better. There are people that they can't read for long, they can't read in the night, they will sleep. But sometimes it's also about discipline, right? Because there are some things that might not be convenient for you, but you need to like discipline yourself, train your body to adapt to that. So when it comes to study strategy, you need to try different methods and see what works for you, right? So for me personally, I'm someone that if I'm reading, I like to write it down, right? If I'm reading something, I usually, once I'm writing it down, and then after writing it, I go through it, and then I write it again in a different place. I remember when I was back as an undergrad, during the exam period, I would buy a separate notebook for exam. So all what I've been taught, what I'm studying it, I will keep writing it. I might write one thing like 5 times and then review it for you to, for you to stick. So if you are someone that have to start studying early from the very first day of teaching, you need to start doing that. There are people that they won't study from the very first day. Once they go to the class, listening to the lecturer, it already sticks in their memory. During the exam, they'll just carry the book, review it, and they go to the exam and get good result from it. And you might be looking at them, this person doesn't study, how does he do it? It's about understanding yourself, what works for you, right? So there's no specific strategy that works for everyone. And that's why it is important that as a student, if you are in class, the lecturer will not be able to satisfy you as much, satisfy everybody at the same time. Because for you, it might be visuals that works for you, and the lecturer is just writing on the board or just dictating. It's not using any video aid or anything, But so then you have to go back and find a way to, to translate that into what works for you. There are some that they have to like record the lecture and listen to it. That's how they can assimilate, right? So find what works for you. If you need to record the lecture yourself, for instance, I know most of this facility might not be in Nigeria for now, but hopefully we'll get there. Recording of lectures and all that. Then if you need to record the lecture, probably you can record yourself, read the whole note again or something, record it yourself, and then have the audio version of your notes or whatever. Then you can listen to it even while you are lying down. You can be listening and assimilating. So discover what works for you and adapt to that. I think that's what I was.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So here's another question. It goes thus: what are the traits or qualities that one must possess in order to improve on oneself effectively? What are the traits or qualities that we need to have so that we can excel at developing ourselves?
Okay. What are the qualities? What I would say for that is everybody has the qualities to develop themselves. It's all about you discovering that quality. It's all about you understanding the peculiarities of the qualities you have, right? So there are different things that you can do. We are all unique in our personalities. There are things that I'm good at that you might not be good at. So firstly is for you to, to have that self-awareness, right? Have that self-awareness. What are my area of strengths? What are the things that I do that are peculiar to me, right? If you are looking at other people, trying to be like other people, that's when you forget about yourself. That's when you are depriving yourself of that inherent qualities that you have. So firstly, understand what are your core strengths, right? And try to develop in that direction. Personal development, is all about building your mind. It's mostly about, you exploring the core qualities that you have already. For instance, there are people that they are outspoken, right? And there are people that they are not that social. They don't socialize much, but give them any task, they can complete it within an hour. But they are not some people that make noise. They are not that, lousy. I won't call it lousy. They are not, that social, but they are good when it comes to executing a project. They are good when it comes to delivering on time. So those are the things that you will look at. Okay, if you are trying to be like other person, oh, this person is very extrovert. He's extroverted. He can, mingle with anybody. He can chat with different people at the same time. He can socialize and all that. You want to be like that person. It's a good thing to admire, but you need to also, understand your own inherent qualities. If you understand that, you know that you don't have to be like this person to be effective or to impact people's life, right? That your uniqueness is what the world is looking for. Because if you are like everyone, then what is the different thing we are bringing on the table? So the skills you need to have is what you already have. So it's all about you developing on it. Sit down and think about it. What are those things that you do without finding it as work? Like for me, for instance, now, I like, helping people. For instance, if there is a problem on ground, I will not feel comfortable until that problem is solved. No matter how difficult it might look, I will try as much as possible to find a way to solve that problem, right? Even if it's something that I've not come across before. I know that there is a solution to it. I never believe that this thing is not possible until I try and see, oh, I think at this point, maybe we need to find another way to do it, or we can postpone it, or maybe get someone else to try it. So firstly, understand yourself. Be self-aware of yourself. Don't try to be like other people. Try to be yourself and develop those skills and those qualities that you have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Okafo. Now, from Benga Dada, he has a question on the group chat. He said, please, what are the chances of people graduated with second class upper, saying 4.0 to 4.2, gaining fully funded master scholarship in Europe without taking any voluntary role during their undergraduate days?
In Europe, why are you specific about Europe? Okay, but apart from that, having a second class upper is a very fantastic result, right? So I have a lot of friends that won scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship. Even when you talk Chevening, let me put Chevening by the side for now. But Commonwealth scholarship, I have a friend that won it with 3 points, I think 8 something, and people has won it with less CGPA than that, of course. And there is someone that has about 4.9 that applied for that same program in that same school, but the person that has 3 point something wins it. So your chances are there. When it comes to all this scholarship, it is not just about your results. I've said that. And one thing some people also don't understand is volunteering skills don't have to be something big. You understand? When you talk about volunteering, some people might think, oh, have to work with one big organization, NGO, all those stuff, and that's when it is volunteering. Volunteering can be as simple as just what you do in where you live. You bring students together, maybe during every weekend, secondary school students, you teach them every weekend, you kind of guide them on moral values and stuff like that. Volunteering can be as small as possible. It's just about impact. Like when it comes to Commonwealth Scholarship, for instance, what they are looking for is impact, not how big the volunteering is, not which organization you work with, but what impact do you make with that position? And it's about your community. So one thing some people don't understand when applying for most of these scholarships is they are not after your big grades, your big working experience. What they want to see in the overall application is the impact you have been able to make with those positions, with those grades that you have, or those opportunities that you have to work in maybe in particular organization. How do you use it to add values? How do you use it to achieve a particular goal? What do you do, right, to achieve those goals? It's not about the goals that you achieve, but how did you achieve it, and what impact do you make in the process of achieving that goal? So having a 2-1 is a very fantastic result. People gain scholarship even with 2-2 in most cases, depending on the basic requirements of such scholarship. So do not think otherwise. You have a high chances. So that's what I would say. But of course, don't limit yourself to Europe. USA is there. The money is here. So Canada is there, as many people that want to go to Canada too. So explore opportunities in different places. Don't just focus in one area. You can always go to the other side. Just expose yourself, get the exposure. Once you win one scholarship, the doors is open for you to win more. So just be flexible in your approach.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okafor. Be flexible and spread your wings wide. All right, to the last question on the chat box, it says from Nusa, it says, sir, what are your tips? Okay, what tips can you give to students, undergraduates, who want to build good relationships with lecturers and alumni in the same field of study?
That's a very important question. I said earlier that I was the class rep of my department from 100 level to 500 level. And one of the responsibilities of being a class rep is that you have to kind of negotiate or agree and disagree most times, right? So sometimes they might want the student to do something. You tell the student this is what you want to do, and the students say, oh, we won't do it. Maybe they say contribute money, want to buy fuel in the jail to there's no light, want to power, other stuff. It happens a lot in Nigeria anyway. And the student might disagree that, oh, no, we won't contribute. We have paid our school fees, all those stuff like that. And it all comes down to you now to go back and present it to the lecturer and say, okay, can we try it differently? What else can we do? And first of all, you be the one to take all the blame first as a class rep if anything goes wrong. And then you want to have a good relationship at the same time with the lecturers, because, if you are looking for scholarship, you need referees, and it's your lecturers, your primary referees. And whatever they say about you matters, right? So, because most of these references, you won't get to read it. In most cases, confidential, they will send it directly to the scholarship board. So in terms of building good relationship, it's all about you firstly participate in class. That's what I would say. Be noticeable. There are some students that the lecturers don't know them. Because when it comes to writing recommendation, it's not just about your academic performance in class, right? If you read about recommendation requirement, especially for Commonwealth scholarship, which the student don't get to see it, because in most cases, they say they have changed the procedure or not, which I don't know. They send it directly to the lecturer to fill and submit. So they will ask them, what are the qualities of this student? What are the, his abilities? What has he done while on campus? You know, his academic performance, his relationship-wise as a student, and you know, what is his chances of succeeding and becoming a developmental agent in this area after the scholarship. So if the lecturer does not know you in class, you are not visible, you are just there, you didn't participate in anything, you are not engaged in any activity, you don't participate in class, you know, they won't get to see you. And that's the first place to start. So you need to like be visible first as a student, to let the lecturers know you, and then be intentional in your relationship with the lecturer. Be intentional. Don't just, you know, be a student that's just, you know, you just go to classes, after class you leave. Sometimes sit down with a lecturer, discuss your intentions with them. Oh, this is what I want to do. I have intention of, you know, furthering my education, and you know, I want to seek advice from you. Firstly, understand it's not all lecturer that you can be your referee, of course. You need to identify those people that has, you know, that passion that has that passion. Will I call it passion now? You need to identify those lecturers that are willing to assist students in such areas. So, and also that have the same belief or the same values with you, you understand? Then identify them, sit with them, as you know, discuss with them. Once you start having discussion with lecturers, you begin to know the kind of person they are. Is this kind of person someone that you want to, you know, have as your referee in the long run, right? Indirectly, don't just go to them first that, oh, I want you to be my referee. No, it doesn't work that way. Most referee that I use from my undergrad school, I never like sit one day and discuss, I want you to be my referee. Like straight up. I first of all have that relationship, you know, be in good terms with them, let them understand my academic progress, and in the long run, after maybe towards the end of your academic year, you just go to them, discuss, they will ask you, what is your next plan? Something like that. You know, you have built that relationship with them. I say, sir, I have a plan of furthering my education, maybe through scholarship, and I know I'll be needing referees and all that. Let them know before you leave the school. Don't just after graduating and one day you want to apply for a scholarship, you just send them an email and, sir, I want you to be my referee. That is kind of not the best approach to go about it. You know, let them know why you are still an undergrad, maybe towards your final year, that this is your intention, this is what you want to do. And those ones that are fully in support of what you want to do, then you can have them as your referee in the long run. So it's very important because recommendation is important. Most people usually ignore it. They say, oh, it doesn't matter. Once I have a good grade, I have work experience, I have this volunteering skill. But someone else have to speak about you, say something good about you, you know, recommend you for a position. And that actually carries weight also. So that's one of the ways you can develop a good relationship with your lecturers.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Okafor. So we'll take a few questions before we round up, since there are no more questions on the chat box. And the question is, what do you do if while trying to develop yourself in school or even in school, postgraduate, probably you have a scholarship and you're studying, okay, as a postgraduate student or even as an undergraduate student, and you find out that you are losing concentration, okay, should you give up self-development for academics? Or there are some people, they feel like, wow, it's like what I'm getting into is booming, should I just give up my academics for it? How should we make such kind of decisions, or what decisions should we make in such kind of a situation? Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think, I've said initially it's about prioritizing. I remember while I was doing my master's, I contested for the academic rep of my class, and I won. So I was the academic rep of my class during my master's also. And also I started a society on campus because I like playing chess board game. So when I got there, I couldn't find anyone to join. And they said, oh, if I can't find an association to join, I can create one. And yeah, of course, I asked them what are the requirements. I went ahead, meet the requirement, proceed and got that started. And those are things that I do, because one thing about me is I don't always want to be all the time academic. It can be boring, to be honest. You know, you have to find something intermittently to do to reignite your mind, or, you know, to change, you know, to refire yourself, you know, have another experience, not just reading from library to your house, to your church or whatever, but try to do other things. So it's about you prioritizing. If you find out that, oh, you are going too much into these things, the question you should ask is, how can you balance it? How can you, you know, find that thin line, you know, to separate these two things and so that one doesn't affect the other, because the academic is your priority, to be honest with you. But there are some people, I remember, that they found their passion while they are in school. Like they found another passion and they want to pursue that passion, even though they are studying a course that's actually totally different from that passion. And most of them, you know, started pursuing that passion and lose concentration on the academics. And today, they are doing well with that passion of theirs. Most of them, majority are doing well. Of course, it's those that do well that we always hear about, but those that don't do well, most I won't hear about them. So what I encourage people is that even if you are, at the end of the day, you're not going to use that degree, it is that passion or that skill that you acquire as a student that you're going to use, but try as much as possible to have a good grade. Don't just say, come out tomorrow and say, oh, I have a bad grade because I didn't like the course I was studying. I started pursuing another thing. Be good in whatever you are doing. What the adage I always use is that whatever your hand found to do it well, right? So just try and do it well. If you are combining two things, first of all, understand the responsibility that is involved in what you are going into, right? Right now, here in the University of Alabama, I'm an executive in African Student Association. That's just where I was running. I just left the meeting halfway, the orientation to join this meeting, right? So I understand the responsibility of being in that position. And I understand also the responsibility of my academic work, right? So mostly my volunteering work, just like an executive member of the association, another, you know, engagement I have is what I do mostly on my weekends. So my academic work, most of the time, I don't touch it during my weekends. I know that from Monday to Friday, I have to, you know, focus on my academic work. Then my weekend is there for me to use. Once in a while, there might be events that I need to attend during the week. Those ones are there. So it's about you prioritizing which one is more important to you. Of course, in most cases, your academic is more important to you, right? So if one is affecting the other, find a way to shed that responsibility, but don't give up. If it is something that is valuable to you, don't just give up totally on it. But if it is something you can live for a while you recover yourself on the path of getting, you know, focusing on your academic, and then later on pick it up, then do it. But giving up sometimes, what giving up usually do to us is that it affects your self-esteem. When you keep giving up on something you start, over time, it becomes kind of, I call it, it has a negative impact on you, because once you start something new, there is that thing in your mind that think, oh, once I encounter any plateau, I can give up, you know. You have that mindset of giving up over time. But if you can be able to see it to conclusion, there is the joy of finishing, right? The joy of finishing is something that is so admirable, and everybody wants to finish the race. So there's nobody that wants to hear that, oh, I started this race, something happened, I couldn't finish it. It's the person that finished that everybody will celebrate. So as much as possible, try to finish what you start, because you know it's going to take you time. It's going to take something from you before you start it. So try your best and see it to conclusion as much as possible. But find that balancing between the two.
All right, thank you very much. I think Mr. Oluwati has a question, and that will be the last question for tonight. Just can you come up with a question, Mr. Tui?
All right, thank you, Doctor. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Sandhya, for such a privilege to have you with us tonight. And of course, the questions I'll be asking, maybe I'll just ask two questions. They are not questions that they are futuristic in a way, because of course this video is still going to be relevant in the future, maybe for people who are yet to be born, probably see it on the YouTube channel or thereabouts later on. So I'm just going to be asking, the question might not even be for people who are connected currently. Now, for example, we have certain people who are financially financial constraints, and eventually they don't even have internet access to join us tonight, and struggling to kind of get a way to fund themselves in all through schools. Of course, most federal government schools are kind of free, but you still have to get to do some things with funding. So in such cases, what are your suggestions, for example, for an undergraduate who is in school and is trying to just come out with a good grade, at the same time trying to fund themselves? Are there certain things you think he can take up? Now, funding, not voluntary, something that will get him real-time money, probably to augment, not definitely to pay his huge school fees, probably to just augment while he's in school. Are there such offers to take up, or such opportunities, looking at Nigeria as a case study? And the second question I'll be asking as well is this. Of course, certain technologies are taking over the world at this time. You talk about robotics, data science, you talk about IoT. So they are probably in all fields. You'll find them relevant in all the fields. And of course, the practicality of these is not actually something visible in most Nigerian universities. So how do you advise people currently studying in Nigeria who really want to develop themselves to meet up with global standards, probably to develop themselves in some of these emerging technologies, while they are in a Nigerian school where they are limited by internet, they are limited by light? So what could be your suggestion in that light? Thank you so much.
Okay, with the first question, what can you do to support your finances as an undergrad? I could remember while I was an undergrad, I had some financial challenges in Nigeria, and I remember that I started doing printing and photocopying. I bought a small printer then. I was helping people to typeset, print, photocopy, get some money from there. And also, I remember most time during the break or during the weekends, if you have a long maybe break or strike or something, or some intermittent strikes that we usually have then, I would rush back home, join my dad in his business, run around, try to make some money, and to support myself. Most times the challenges will be there, but the passion for what lies ahead of you, will give you the strength to explore opportunities that will add finances to your bag. Right? University is a very wide, that's why it's called university, because like the universe. So there are different opportunities that lies there that people can explore. I know students that started a business as an undergrad, and today they are living off that business. Some goes to buy wares, sell to their co-students, make some money from it, and some are, they learn the skill of barbing and they go to home service, barb their fellow students, get some money from that during the weekends. And some are hairdressers. So there are a lot of things you can think of. So when it comes to supporting yourself financially or having that financial intelligence, there are other things you can do legitimately, that can earn you money, even though no matter the limitation, internet access, of course, we all experience that at one point or the other. But those are just limitations, doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to overcome them, right? So firstly, you need to look out for opportunities. Yeah, online, if you talk about online, digital opportunities to make fun, like affiliate marketing. Not everybody knows that. Freelancing and all those stuff. There are people that are into this. So it's all about you going out, talking to people that you know that they are good in this aspect. There are people, the social media is a wide place. It's a place that you can learn skills, you can make good connections that can help you, put you in the right direction in those areas, right? So basically, there are tons of ways you can assist yourself financially as a student. And one thing I usually tell people is that try as much as possible to have something that brings money to you as a student. Don't just, depend solely on your parents. Because I remember when my dad had some health conditions, and, he was my primary source of funding. And I had financial challenges then. I needed to find something to do to help myself financially. Most times I have to, during the break, I have to go back to his business. I have to, join my junior brother to go and, run the business, go to the market, acquire the goods and all that, to make sure that the business is sustained, even while he's not physically present at that moment, right? Because I know I have to finish my education. I can't stop at that point. So, and again, I was also doing my printing work at school and all that. So those are the things you need to explore. Once you are ready to explore those opportunities, you will find them. It's only when you didn't open your mind or you don't think of it. You just believe that, oh, if my parent doesn't pay my school fee, I don't think there's any way. I have students that are paying their school fees. You can do part-time jobs. You can work on weekends, maybe in a restaurant. You can work in different places within the school, to make money for yourself, to help yourself financially. So those are areas you can explore to keep yourself well and financially stable as an undergrad. So the second question is talk about the robotics, all these technologies that are taking over the industries right now. So yes, I know there are limitations, of course, we all experience such limitation. But one thing I will tell you is that you being aware that these things exist is very important, right? You know that there's no way for you to access them in Nigeria. The facilities are not there. What these people here are looking for is not someone that knows it all. They're not looking for someone that is very good in using this thing, but they want to see the potential that you have. I won't tell you that I was very good in using a particular software. When you come here, you learn, no matter how good you are. When you get here, you learn the new way to do it, right? So no matter how good you are, you think you are, of course, but the fact is that for you to be able to pass through Nigerian education system, you are good and graduate with a good result. Take it from me, you are good enough, right? So what they are looking out for is you have that potential and you are ready to learn, right? Once you are ready to learn, forget it. Once you come over here, the facilities are there, you have what you want. So try your best. Don't let the limitations of internet, power, a lot of them, there are many to mention. I know everyone experiences it at one stage or the other. So, but do your best. Do your best to, to prepare your mind. If you have access to internet at any point or the other, have an idea about these things. If you have any free course on it, learn about how it works. And, mention those things, let them see those things in your application that, oh, you are aware of how these things work. Then once you are here, they will, you have the opportunity to learn it more. And also you should remember that as these technologies are taking over most industries, businesses, there are still some skills that technology can never take over, like networking, persuasive, emotional intelligence, all those type of soft skills that human being will still. So most of these industries that that employ people, what they are looking for is those soft skills. Because repetitive works, robots are going to take them over, because you operating a machine manually, all those things. Robotics are taking over all those stuff. Artificial intelligence are taking over all those stuff. But there are some things when it comes to coordination, persuasion, negotiation. So those are the skills that you need to know to develop yourself on as we speak. So don't bother much if you don't know how to use particular technology that is not available in Nigeria. Don't worry about that. You will learn how to do that if you need to when you come over here. When you get across the board, not over here, but you know what I mean when I say over here. So when you actually get to win those scholarships that you are looking out for, believe you me, you will learn a lot. So don't bother much on that. All right. I think I have answered the question to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful session, and I would just love to invite one of the participants. Anyone can just decide to just appreciate our guest speaker. He has been a wonderful person. I know we've gained valuable insights from the sessions. Like I said earlier, it's not going to be for the present alone. Even people in the nearest future will still see this video and have a lot to learn from it. So do we have Sheyi Akeredolu? Can you do a vote of thanks for the guest speaker?
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
All right, can you come up now?
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Yeah, good evening.
evening.
Okay. I'm blessed to participate in tonight's meeting, and I want to appreciate our guest speaker for taking his time to take us through this session. I believe everyone has learned one or two things. And I also want to thank those that organized the meeting. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Mr. Okafor. So just in closing, we're just going to say what a prayer. We end it there. Oh, our Lord Jesus, we appreciate you for this wonderful time to learn. And Lord, we say that all that we've learned, we receive the grace and the ability to put them to practice in the name of Jesus. And we pray for each of us that we will receive that strength to go great places in the name of Jesus. There's that spirit in man, the inspiration of the Almighty, giving us understanding to apply all that we've learned tonight. And so the Lord is taking us great places, and His light continually shine on. And Lord, we appreciate you. Thank you, because this is just the beginning. We'll see more and more of this. And we pray for our speaker as well, that you will continue to enlarge his coast. Oh, thank you, Jesus, for this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So can we all just come on video before we leave, so that we can just do a snapshot, whether it's dark or blue or red or green, it doesn't matter. But just come on video so that we can all. Temi, yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, who is there again? Charles, Noza, Lufemi, Sheyi, come on video. You just need to do a snapshot.
Okay, I'm coming. Start with you. Okay.
Okay, good. Shaz, Benga, Nosa, Lufemi. At least we'll use this to know that Temi is struggling there.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry.
Okay. We can see now. All right. Can you take the snapshot, Jan?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, sir, still come up. It doesn't matter. Whether dark, completely dark, it's all right.
Not everyone is on video, but it's fine anyway.
Awesome, Binga. Yeah, great, guys. So, hope to see everybody on the top. And thank you so much, Mr. Sunday Kafo. Maybe the next time we would be pleased to invite you, you would be a full-fledged doctor of civil engineering.
Doctor.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye, guys.